On August 15th, 2021, a woman was struck in the head by a small metal object while waiting in line for Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point. In prior years, it had been rumored that the coaster was maybe on the chopping block, as it had been prone to excessive reliability issues since it opened in 2003. But it seemed that this unfortunate accident was what was finally going to push Cedar Point over the edge to close Top Thrill Dragster forever. For 2 full years, roller coaster enthusiasts speculated over what the park was planning to do with this attraction. It was unlikely to be removed in its entirety, with it being one of the most iconic roller coasters in the world. Heck, it was the first full-circuit coaster to even reach 400 feet tall. On August 1st, 2023, Cedar Point announced a reimagined version of Top Thrill Dragster, which would now be known as Top Thrill 2. Now, for those of you who are new around here, I was about as big of a fan of Top Thrill Dragster as it gets. In addition to its incredibly tall top hat, Dragster had a launch unlike anything else in the world. 0 to 120 miles per hour using a hydraulic launch system, which was able to accelerate riders quicker than just about any other launch type. However, hydraulic launches were extremely unreliable, and so we assumed Cedar Point would replace it with another type of launch. More than likely, this would be LSMs, or linear synchronous motors. We've even seen a similar coaster to this open with LSMs instead, Red Force at Ferrariland in Spain. But this is Cedar Point, the roller coaster capital of the world. Surely they wouldn't just downgrade their heavily acclaimed Stratocoaster. Well, they did. And downgrade, in my opinion, is a drastic understatement. They'd be replacing the hydraulic launch with a back and forth swing launch using LSM technology. Along with this, there would be a 420-foot tall vertical spike to match the height of the top hat. While these features may look cool, I think it's extremely disappointing, and that's why I'm here to rant to you guys. A lot of you know me as the positive, enthusiastic coaster channel who's always seeing the good in things, and that's mostly true because that's just the person that I am. But even I, for the life of me, cannot get excited about this project. So I'm here today to discuss why I think Top Thrill 2 is one of the biggest disappointments in amusement history and what I think they should have done instead. Now, something to take note of is this reimagining is being done by Italian ride manufacturer Zamperla rather than the original manufacturer of Top Thrill Dragster, Intamin. Though Cedar Fair and Intamin have had a rocky relationship in the past due to attractions like this, I couldn't believe Zamperla was the rumored manufacturer to be revitalizing this coaster. Sure, they've come out with some promising roller coaster concepts these past few years, but the largest they've actually built is just over 100 feet tall, nowhere near the size of Top Thrill Dragster. And no offense, but these Thunderbolt coasters I'm referring to kind of suck. They're very rough and uncomfortable experiences. However, Cedar Fair still decided to take a shot in the dark with Zamperla, and they'll be introducing their new technology on a Top Thrill 2. The trains look comfortable, the ride looks smooth, and above all else, it seems that it will be more reliable. But I can't say that with 100% confidence. I find it incredibly bizarre that Cedar Fair went looking for a manufacturer that could make Top Thrill Dragster more reliable and settled on a prototype experience from Zamperla of all companies. This is a gamble that might not work out for them. Meanwhile, Intamin has been doing a lot of work overseas and at a select few parks here in America that have proved both reliable and extremely high quality. Cedar Fair should have squashed their beef with Intamin and worked with them to come up with an almost guaranteeable success story that is equally exciting and reliable. I'm sure they would have been much more daring with the reimagining in ways that could have prevented this video from existing in the first place. I seriously doubt I'd have to rant to you guys over how dissatisfied I am with this coaster if Intamin had taken over the project. A lot of coaster enthusiasts have reserved judgment as we haven't really given Zamperla a fair shake yet. And maybe that's true, but I want to break down Top Thrill 2's ride experience and explain why, to me, it's painfully disappointing. To start, riders will be accelerated to 74 miles per hour on the first launch, across the entire section of track where the 120 mile per hour hydraulic launch took place before. So they're already cutting that first launch down by about half the speed of the original. But then you head into the top hat, and the reason the pull up into the top hat was always so drawn out is because it had to accommodate the 120 miles per hour that the ride was originally built with. That's gonna feel pretty forceless, I imagine. But it gets worse. Cedar Point is advertising that Top Thrill 2 will give a rollback every ride. Rollbacks on Top Thrill Dragster occurred on rare occasions when there wasn't enough power to launch riders over the top. Here's the difference. On Top Thrill 2, you aren't going to be going very high at all. Sorry, but that's not a rollback. Once you start heading backwards and hit launch 2, get this, you are only going to be gaining 27 miles per hour, and let me recite what I said before. This is across a section of track that used to facilitate a 120 mile per hour launch. But it gets even worse. Between launch 2 and 3, you gain 19 miles per hour. I genuinely don't think you'll even feel that. A lot of coaster enthusiasts have at least said, hey, 100 miles per hour backwards will be great no matter the acceleration. But I think we're forgetting that there's already a roller coaster that does that, and it doesn't exactly receive a lot of praise. Superman Escape from Krypton at Six Flags Magic Mountain receives more criticism than anything, and that's almost exactly what this is going to feel like. The one element Zamperla is building from the ground up is the new 420-foot vertical spike. And I'll admit, I am looking forward to what a spike this huge will feel like. But even with my most anticipated element on the entire ride, I am still a little bit skeptical. Here's the thing, why on earth is this spike going to be 420 feet tall? If it takes 120 miles per hour to clear the top hat and we're going 101 miles per hour up the spike, you probably won't even make it 350 feet. I know sometimes manufacturers leave a little extra space at the top, but 70 feet is ridiculous. In my opinion, they're only building this spike 420 feet for show, and that's pretty much how I feel about all of this. It'll absolutely look impressive and will draw in a lot of people, but I don't think many who rode the original will be impressed. After launch 3, the ride is basically unchanged from Top Thrill Dragster. You rocket up the 420-foot top hat, fall down the spiral drop, and so that'll all still be great. It's the one part of the ride that we know will be as good as the original. But as much as the top hat and drop are fun, can we be honest, we rode Top Thrill Dragster for the launch. There's literally nothing about Top Thrill 2 that they improved ride experience-wise, except I think a lot of people will be happy to see that it's like twice as long now. But even that I'd be willing to argue, is that a good thing? I've said this in many videos before, but I would much rather ride a short coaster that's awesome the whole way through than a long coaster that leaves a lot to be desired. At least Top Thrill Dragster compensated for its length. It goes beyond the ride itself too. What about the name? What kind of name is Top Thrill 2? I can honestly say that no one I know referred to Top Thrill Dragster as Top Thrill. It was either you say the full thing, or more commonly you called it Dragster. So Top Thrill 2 is a terrible name, and it'll only make distinguishing the two versions more confusing. So let me wrap up this video by talking about what I would have done differently with the reimagining. First, give it a better name. I mean, come on. But second, layout-wise, if Intamin were doing this, I think it would have been really cool if they put their swing launch bunny hill combination on Top Thrill Dragster. Think of Pantheon at Busch Gardens Williamsburg or Tutautas at Park Asterix. These elements are widely considered the best part of those rides. The acceleration still wouldn't be very impressive, but I genuinely think the airtime riders would experience going that fast would completely compensate for it. Also, I struggle to understand why they wouldn't twist that spike. It would have been a brilliant opportunity to pay homage to Wicked Twister, which closed at Cedar Point the same year as Top Thrill Dragster in 2021. You do these three things and I think Cedar Point would have a worthy successor on their hands. Another option, and I think what most of us enthusiasts expected to happen, is that they simply replace the hydraulic launch with one fast LSM launch like the aforementioned Red Force at Ferrari Land. Admittedly, I was skeptical of this ride experience too, but after riding Red Force this year, I can honestly say Top Thrill Dragster still would have been amazing. I guess it wouldn't differentiate the new and old versions enough though. Let me know in the comment section what you think of Top Thrill 2. I know there's a surprising amount of people that are really looking forward to this coaster, so for those people, I'd love to hear why down below. I'm absolutely open to hearing what others have to say, especially since I do want to be excited about Top Thrill 2. I just can't quite bring myself there. Maybe if I found a way to experience it without comparing it to the original, I'd walk away more satisfied. We'll see when I get back to the park next year. To those of you who agree with what I've said in today's video, I'd like to hear what you think the reimagining should have looked like and what changes you would have made. Leave a like and subscribe to Coaster Dash for more content like this in the future, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye guys.